Undertow content acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we are recording this podcast. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people Australia-wide.
Hello and welcome to Cut, the Undertow content podcast that looks under the hood of the entertainment industry.
I'm Amanda Browne.
And I'm Nell Nakkan.
And we are here to tell you what you can expect when you stuff us in your ears or blast us on your drive.
So who are we? Amanda, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I grew up wanting to be a famous actress. I think that might have been some need for validation, but anyway, the plan was clear. I moved to LA when I was 19 and I realised I didn't like auditioning, so that's a bit of a problem. So that whole plan got shot to poo. I then went into events and production, and I realised that bringing it all together was the goal, being the producer, having the vision and making that vision come to life. That's what I was really passionate about. So I started Undertow in 2023 with the aim of doing things differently and elevating Australian talent and content.
And tell us more about why you decided to start a company.
Well, I'd always had this feeling that I wanted to start my own production company. I just knew I didn't know enough. So I went in and I worked at companies. I started as an executive assistant. I worked at companies to learn the skills I needed to learn and understand how it all works.
Mm-hmm.
I got to a point where I felt like I had the contacts and enough knowledge to be able to start my own business. You never know enough. You never know everything.
Yep.
But I've learned a lot, and I'm really excited to be able to share my journey with people to hopefully help them learn and understand as well, and all of the things that come with it.
Mm.
How about you, Nell?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you, I wanted to be an actor, so I did that for a long time. I moved to LA to go to school, and I moved home like 10 years later. I kind of felt like it was time, and goodbye network. So I needed a new one. I went to film school in Sydney and did a business course, and then I've worked in sales and marketing roles. I built something called The Savvy Creative, which is all about financial mistakes. You and I met, and I came on board at Undertow, and I'm also a producer as well.
Love it. We wanted to give you a bit of a rundown of why we decided to do this. A big part of it was creating access to information. Both Nell and I have experience in struggling with how to find out about how the whole industry works. How do we get in? How do we get opportunities? The Australian industry has been typically quite gatekeepery in terms of access to information, and especially for emerging talent, which is confusing and frustrating and all that stuff. But it was really about creating that access to information for people on a platform that's easily accessible. And hopefully it can help people feel a bit more supported. We're also creating an audience for Undertow. We are bringing you guys in from the very beginning. We want to share our journey. We're going to share the wins, the losses, the mistakes. I will try and be as vulnerable as possible. I think that's really important for people to understand what goes into starting a production company and also creating projects, like creating film, creating TV. I think there's a lot of mystery around how much actually goes into that. So we're excited to bring you guys on the journey. We want to look at every aspect of this whole industry. What do people do? How did they get there? How does the whole process even work? And we want to touch on the topics that might be a little bit taboo. Ask those questions. Go there. How much do people get paid? Who was originally hired? Things that failed. Let's have those conversations. Let's dive in. And we're excited for that.
Yeah. Leave no stone unturned.
Yeah. Or attempt to overturn the stone, even if it's heavy.
Yep. One of the priorities of this podcast is tapping into what you guys want. So what is important to us is engaging with you via social media and also via our Undertow content email to understand what you're dealing with and who and what you want to hear on the podcast. Each episode, we talk to someone who is living and breathing our industry, working either here in Oz or overseas. Definitely people who have lots of brilliant advice to share. These guys are true experts in their fields, from filmmakers to writers to physical production managers to EPs. We even found out about some jobs that we didn't even know existed. And our regular In the News segment will cover what's going on in the broader entertainment industry, bringing all the relevant and hot topics straight to you.
We could keep talking all day. We love a chat.
We love a chat.
People have things to do. We have things to do, but we do want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you want. So let us know at undertowcommunity@gmail.com or slide into our DMs on socials at cut.pod. We can't wait to share our first episode with you.
Cut the podcast, coming soon. An Undertow content podcast.